What do you think about BLM? Do you think it was a success or a failure?
By spreading that idea, you create even more separation.
They only report this stuff against white people.
What's up, everybody? In today's video, we will be reacting to my friend Gen. He has an incredible YouTube channel where he takes street interviews but turn them into like investigative journalism. Incredible content. We actually have a collab coming out very soon. I'm super excited for that. But for today, we'll be reacting to his video outlining if the media is lying about racial violence and if it's stoking the flames and really making things bigger than what it is. So we're gonna get right into this video and see what people on the street had to say about the media and racial violence.
But every other racial group had something that they were like seen as less, and white people haven't really had that.
White people have definitely had that. White people have definitely had bad things done to them. Every race has gone through slavery. Every race has been conquered. Like, black people aren't the only race have gone through bad things. Maybe recently in what we're told and seen, but every race has gone through something. It's not a just black person issue.
Media can cover policemen very biased.
I hate the system that is there. I know people who've gotten killed by the police. I'm like, I wish somebody would try me.
So today I'm out here and the question that I'll be asking is the media biased regarding racial violence?
They only report this stuff against white people. They don't report all the stuff against other races. I think there's an increase of awareness, and I think they're getting more and more coverage over police doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
I think here in the US, the media doesn't really cover anything that doesn't gain any traction with a lot of the buzzwords like Black Lives Matter or Stop Asian Hate, etc.
I work in media, so I know that there are biases based on, who your advertisers are, who your audience is. Either, they understand that there are racial issues in the world, or they try and downplay those racial issues.
I think that mainly, there's a bias. More coverage for the underdog, I don't know.
The media perpetrates a lot of stereotypes regarding different races. When there's like the big mass shootings of the white people, it's always like, oh, he was mentally ill, or he had this or that, like some explanation. And for black people, it's just more point blank, this is how it was their fault.
Bias is, it's kind of hard to put a pinpoint on it, but I know it's not 100% equal, put it that way.
That's definitely true. Like, we already know the media plays a massive role in shaping the narrative of our country. For so long, I looked at the news like, yes, this is a news source and they're showing me exactly what's happening, when no. In reality, it's a corporation showing me what they think I want to see to keep me coming back for more. Because the more I come back, the more they're able to profit from their ad sales. There are news outlets on both the left and the right who cater to their users' existing worldview because they know it's profitable to trap people within an echo chamber. So personally, I've been using an app called Ground News to make sure that I'm getting the full picture. For every story, you get a quick visual breakdown of who wrote the story, what biases it has, who's funding the publication, and much, much more. And what's also cool is they have a feature called Blind Spot that quickly shows me all the news that the left is talking about that the right isn't, and all the news that the right is talking about that the left isn't. And I'll show you real quick. So this is Blind Spot, and on the left side, you have all the news that the right is talking about and the left isn't. Which, for example, here's Tucker Carlson drive through South Central Los Angeles with actor Ice Cube. The right's harping on it, but the left isn't, which kind of funny because you think the left would talk about, yes, he's a Republican and like this OG rapper getting along and talking, but they're not, furthering their worldview and keeping them trapped in an echo chamber. And on the right, we have more than 40 million people in the US live in urban heat islands. The right isn't talking about that much at all, but the left is, because the left is more apt to talk about environmental issues. I love using Blind Spot so much because it helps me stay grounded and really seeing the full scope of what's happening in the news, because there's a lot that isn't being talked about on both sides of the political aisle. And you also can compare news headlines so you can quickly see how a source is shaping the story. It's a quick way for me to stay grounded in the hot mess that is our mainstream media. So if you're wanting to find more common ground and actually enjoy reading the news again, be sure to sign up at ground.news/Amir for a free trial so that you can compare coverage and spot media bias with every story.
I personally don't think the media is here to serve our needs. I work in media, and I'm telling you, they are there to sell.
Literally what we were just talking about with Ground News. They're just here to sell. It's unfortunate that that's the case, and that's where we are with the media today, but we've kind of allowed it. We've allowed ourselves to get lazy with identifying what's real and what's fake. We just take the headlines for face value and run with it. And the media is playing us like a damn fiddle, and it's sad. But it's gonna take more of us to really wake up and really push against this, and I think we all are.
How do you think like coverage of racial violence impacts societal relations?
The BLM movement and the media really helped in the sense of awareness, but I think people can just make a statement or say something and feel like they've done their part in it.
Post like a black square.
Yeah, exactly.
That black square in 2020, that and just posting stories of like you at a march. Like, what are you actually doing? Why are you out here in the streets crying? I mean, I was there literally in 2017 in the streets marching with BLM, crying and all. And I had no foundation, I had no grounding of what I really stood for because it's allowing myself to be led by mainstream media. They had me by a chokehold. I like how, Black Lives Matter mainstream media really made highlight of certain things that were wrong in our country, but they definitely overshot it and overblew it. Is there police brutality in America? Yes. Is it unfortunate? Yes. Will it ever come to an end? No. And you'd be a fool to think so. There's bad actors, bad cops, bad lawyers, bad teachers, bad politicians. But the fact that you have a whole population of Black people and, pretty much liberals in general out here really thinking that thousands of young Black men are being shot unarmed by the cops, that just isn't the case. More people are being struck by lightning. Literally, more people are being struck by lightning than Black unarmed young men are being shot and killed by the cops. Miss me with the BS.
Like the Blackout Tuesday, that didn't do shit. I don't understand why anybody did that, but then it makes people feel better about it, and so I think it's like a double-edged sword.
Sensationalizing division between races creates more division by promoting a victim mentality. Sometimes it happens. People genuinely hate other races. Like, it's a terrible thing, but by spreading that idea, you create even more separation.
Do you think like the media's coverage of racial violence helps solve racism or increases racial tension?
I think it's increased. Every time I turn on the television, people shooting up this person shooting up here. If it's not a lot of shooting, there's a lot of drugs here now.
Do you think media should be ignoring these types of incidents?
They shouldn't ignore it, but there's some stuff we have control of and some stuff we don't have control of. If I'm going to make a story about this now, I wouldn't do it the way they be doing.
He's exactly right. Like, should they be reporting on bad things in the news that happens? Yes. But the way you report on it is just so foul and so misleading. I remember there was a case talking about, Black guy shot unarmed by the cops. Well, context. Did they try to disarm the cop? Were they physically punching and fighting with the cop? They don't provide any context. I've always said this. I've always said if a white cop shoots me, it's hashtag Amir Odom. But if a Black man shoots me, crickets. If a white man does anything to a Black person in America, everybody's ups in arms, everybody's protesting, crying in the streets, woe is me, stop the white hate, stop the racism in America. But if a Black guy does anything, it's crickets. Make it make sense. By all means, report on the news and things that are going on, but don't try to twist it and don't be fake about it.
Have you personally experienced any incidents of racially motivated attacks?
I'm actually Mexican, but most people think I'm just white or Armenian, so they tend to not try to act any way towards me because they think I'm white.
I'm from New York and I don't play that, so I'm always worried. I'm like, I wish somebody would try me.
Well, no violence, but I heard people shout the N-word to me. I just kind of look at it, hey, that's your choice to say what you want to say. It's my choice to listen to it. I just look at them and keep walking.
I feel like this is a pretty rare mind.
He needs to, listen, he reminds me of my papa. Because regarding the N-word, I'll make a video on it too. I don't care about the N-word. I'm not giving agency to someone else to have that much control over my life and my emotions. To allow a word to ruin my day, to allow a word to affect me that way, I can give two craps about the N-word. Anyone can say it, anyone can call me, I don't care. Not going to allow myself to be that hurt and bothered by what a stranger is saying. It's a free country. We have the right to free speech. Say what you want. I do not care. But also keep in mind that you are in control of your mindset. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you respond. So you're going to give that agency, or you're going to respond to every little thing that happens to you and every little thing that someone says to you? You shouldn't. You're stronger than that and you're bigger than that.
And the way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race.
But at the same time, are these critics suggesting that discussing racism is automatically considered racism itself?
I think you can discuss racism and how it happens and how it's something in our past without making it seem as though nothing has changed and we're still in the same spot in America and everything and everyone is racist. There's totally a way to teach and show kids what happened back in the past, what racism is, because it does exist, people are racist, but to also highlight the positives of how far we have come and how it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Because I do think that now there is an extreme bias in the way that it's being taught out there. And it's increasingly sad and frustrating to see, especially people my age and younger, out in the streets marching and being more loud than the people in the 60s and 70s. You're a whole ass free Black American and you're in the streets yelling and hipper and hollering more than people was in the 50s and 60s. Make it make sense. We are our ancestors' dream. There is nothing at all that I cannot do because I am Black. And there are people alive right now who could not say that when they were my age. So I need my generation and Gen Zs to wake up And stop acting like we have it so bad and you're hating America for what reason or why. And I need the mainstream media to keep it in check and stop trying to push this divide for no reason. There's no reason at all for this country to be as divided as it is.
So it raises the question, does critical race theory promote victim mentality and hinder unity, or does it promote empathy and deeper understanding? But more importantly, what impact does the lens that we choose to view the world have on our perception of reality? So with that said, do you think most violence is racially motivated?
I think racial and social and economic classes usually go kind of hand in hand. It's a big factor to a lot of things, and I think that stereotypes usually add into the fact that people are maybe going to have more fear in a certain situation based off of how someone presents.
After Black Lives Matter happened, there was only news that I would see primarily about white cops against people of color, and there was never any instances otherwise of anything else.
Black gangs do violence against their own members of their own race. White people, if they're in a gang, they do violence against their own race.
Why do you think media sometimes ignores instances like that? If we look at statistics, probably the most violence against black victims is from black perpetrators. Why do you think that is not talked about in media?
I don't know.
I think it's not talked about because it doesn't help the narrative. You can't talk about Black Lives Matter and America's such a racist country and we're under attack by the KKK and white people and white hate groups, when in reality it's people who look like me that I should be watching out for. That's just the unfortunate truth. Black people make up majority of the crimes in this country. So there is some context to be applied when you're talking about issues regarding race, and at some point, math isn't racist. Statistics aren't racist. You have to be real with this shit and recognize, okay, if I'm a store owner and I know majority of the robberies are from young black men, I might be looking at young black men a little differently when they walk in the store. It's not necessarily racist. You're just looking out at the data. So there is some context to it. Now, like Granny said, white people harm white people, black people harm black people. We all do it. But for some reason, with black people, not only do we do it to ourselves a lot, but we do it to other people. And for us to be hip and hollering about being a minority in the United States, why the hell do we make up a majority of some other things that are going on? We have some changes that we need to be making and that we can make.
In August 2020, during the riots that followed Jacob Blake's shooting in Wisconsin, 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 people and injured another with an assault rifle.
He ran up on somebody with an assault rifle, dude, with nothing. Like he was just gonna tackle dude to the ground.
Rittenhouse, who has previously expressed support for Blue Lives Matter but wasn't part of any right-wing militia, was then charged with multiple counts. And what followed was widespread media attention around the legal cases and conversations around gun laws, safety, and namely race.
Did Kyle Rittenhouse act in fear of his own life, and was that action reasonable?
Although both the perpetrator and the victims in the altercations were all white, Joe Biden compared Rittenhouse to white supremacists.
I'll never forget they were saying this man is racist. He out here with assault rifle shooting black folk. Everybody he killed was white and was attacking him on video.
Celebrities took to social media to pin extremist labels and even some wishing death. And on the other side, Rittenhouse was seen from traditional conservatives to extremist groups alike as a blameless individual representing ideals of law and order.
You were trying to defend a used car lot.
You had no other choice but to defend yourself.
And in November 2021, despite murky evidence and arguments around the legitimacy of self-defense,
we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges. So it raises the question, because when misinformation is a media concern, where should the line be drawn between investigating information and forming narratives before someone is proven guilty?
Yes. Why aren't we taking more time? One, why are we taking time to just pause and just relax a little bit for more things and more resources to come out instead of just harping on the issue? At one point, are we going to realize, yes, we want to talk about what's happening in the news right now, but we have to be careful with the amount of information that we have. Because when we don't have all the information, we start to insert the information. We start to make assumptions. And those assumptions always have a bias. So at what point are we going to stop and realize, like, damn, maybe sometimes we are doing more harm than good. There's no reason for Kyle Rittenhouse to have gone through all the things he went through. When literally in the court of law in our nation, it was found to be self-defense. Yet everyone's talking about, oh my gosh, he's a racist, white supremacist, this, that, and the other. And none of that is true. All that does is fan the flames and further this political divide.
And especially when media coverage and treatment is inconsistent, is it furthering the divide? And in January 19, an openly gay black man was attacked in Chicago by 2 white individuals who shouted racist and homophobic slurs, poured unknown chemical substances, and wrapped a rope around his neck. The incident immediately gained an outpouring of support for actor Jussie Smollett, from Joe Biden to Bernie Sanders, and even an anti-lynch.
I will never forget this Jussie Smollett story and the sheer amount of people that came out. Because that issue, oh my gosh, black and gay people are under attack in America. We're so under attack, we have to stage an attack. We're so under attack, you have to pay someone to attack you. As a black and gay man in America, I'm chilling, I'm good. There's literally nothing harming me. But people in their heads, they want this to be a thing so bad. They want us to live in a life of fear. They want us to really think that it's really harmful and detrimental to live in the United States of America, and it is just not.
As the investigation progressed, things were starting to not add up.
The trove of evidence is all part of Smollett's elaborate hoax for publicity.
After phone records and surveillance was examined, what they found was that not only were the 2 white guys actually 2 Nigerian brothers, but the whole incident was staged.
Blacker than 11:59 p.m. I don't know what white, them underwear, them drawers is white. Africans. Boy.
Do you think the police have a racial bias against certain groups?
I would be surprised if they didn't.
A part of it is understandable, if we're gonna be real. Look at who commits crimes, all of those things, right? But what's missing is the reason why people commit crimes.
When your life is on the line, you need to be able to recognize where the danger is coming from. That may sound racist, I understand, but at the end of the day, it's statistics. If I know somebody is more likely to attack me, then why wouldn't I be more ready for that?
Exactly. At the end of the day, a lot of it does boil down and come to statistics. And people say all day long that being prejudiced and profiling is 110% wrong. There is a slight truth to it. There is a slight use case. There is nuance to these conversations.
What group do you think commits most crimes?
I know that black people commit a lot of crimes. I know there are a lot of Mexicans and Latinos in jail. I know that white people also I think people commit a lot of crimes. I don't know how many Asian people commit crimes. I would say it's probably less, honestly.
You're just studying?
Yeah, no, like
media can cover policemen very biased. You get a few instances, but to generalize all policemen as the same, I wouldn't do that.
You know, a lot of people are saying defunding the police is a solution.
I think we can already see the effects of defunding the police. There's more crime, there's more things that are happening.
I think that's what's caused most of the problems in Portland. Groups of people going into stores and just overwhelming the clerks and running off with thousands of dollars in merchandise because there's no police to handle that. And I don't think that has to do with race at all. I think it just has to do with the
Again, these clips, I'm surprised they're sitting here on YouTube. What the hell was Granny talking about? I don't forgot.
It just has to do with the police not having enough funding.
Yes, over the funding of police and people saying all cops are bad. I think it's wrong, and we are seeing the effects of not paying police enough and not giving them enough training. The crime rates have just been rising in certain cities, and it's unfortunate to see. But damn, it's these same cities that hate the police, which makes no sense to me. How you hate the police, but you can be the first one to call them when you're getting robbed?
I come from a neighborhood that's over-policed. I know people who've gotten killed by the police. You know, I don't hate all police. I hate the system that is there. When you look at the school, the city streets, the money can go to a different place. And I don't think that we need to fully defund the police because I think that the police does serve a purpose. If we are paying for it, I need to see y'all everywhere.
Wait, but doesn't that conflict that you said that you want to see?
I'm saying if we are paying for you, if the budget is getting increased, I need to see.
Yeah, you want to see it, but I don't understand this whole over-policing thing. I don't understand how you can over-police an area that's good. There's too many police. It's was there too much crime? Can we talk about that? Why is there so many police there to begin with? Is it justified? Is it not? Because all the towns that I see, oh my gosh, over-policing, it's too much police. I see a lot of damn crime. So I don't know.
There's been movements like Stop Asian Hate. And something that wasn't maybe shown as much in the media, a lot of the perpetrators and incidents seem to be African-American individuals. But there seems to be less coverage of that in the media.
Yep, because the media, you can't focus on Black Lives Matter and then come out and say Stop Asian Hate when it's the black people causing the Asian hate. just from a media standpoint and making money, you can't really do that. That's very contradicting the statements and the organization. So you need someone to be a victim, and for so long it's been the white man as the victim, and then Stop Asian Hate comes along and it's showing that it's the black people that are causing all the hate towards the Asians, but it's also the black people we're trying to defend for Black Lives Matter against the white people.
Why do you think Asians aren't really considered when it comes to racial violence?
I don't know. I'm just white.
I don't know. I honestly, I've heard about the Stop Asian Hate movement, a little bit. I really have not heard about the movement at all that much.
Maybe people kind of pick and choose the movements that they want to rally behind instead of advocating for, no, racial violence isn't good, no matter who the group is.
For a lot of people, it's what you feel like you have a personal relationship with, and BLM feels like a personal thing for me. And I think that honestly probably is the deficit to humans is I feel like I have to have some personal connection to really feel like I want to get that involved.
And that's fair. I mean, like she said, as a black person, she just feels more attached to black people, and maybe that is a deficit to us all, because we really should be looking holistically, yes, let's just stop hate against people in general. But instead it's stop the black hate, stop the Asian hate, stop this, stop that. And for what reason? Because I mean, hell, even for me, I spent years trying to be black enough and have a black card because I felt like I had to be a part of this black community just because I have more melanin in my skin. When in reality, that's not the case. There are tons of blacks, there's whites, Asians, Hispanics that all have the same passions I have. Are they more sparsed out? Yeah, but they are there.
We all have biases based on personal experience that dictate the attention we pay on issues. But why is it that even in the media's climate of race baiting, anti-Asian attacks were not really talked about? Because when the anti-Asian attacks were at its peak, it seemed that for once, the media was doing everything to not mention the race of the perpetrator. But it wasn't just the media. Asian leaders were also silent. And it wasn't until an incident in March 2021 when the conversations surrounding racial violence against Asians actually became significant.
A white man is in police custody accused of killing 8 people at 3 spas in Cherokee.
Robert Long, a white dude, was arrested.
What did I just say? They need a white man to pinpoint and put all the blame on. And look at this. You got black folk hurting all these Asians for so long, and then you got a white boy to show up, and boom, there's our man.
After he opened fire at numerous massage parlors, killing 8 people, with 6 being Asian women. And immediately, media outlets, as well as Asian celebrities, began to tie the incident to anti-Asian hate, misogyny, and especially white supremacy.
Another burst of violence that leaves Asians in America in anger and fear.
The rising violence against Asian Americans needs to stop.
Politicians like Biden and Kamala Harris also show support by criticizing Trump's rhetoric during the pandemic as the cause of these attacks.
The Chinese virus, Kung flu.
Once taken into custody, Long revealed to police that the attack was motivated not by race, but by sexual addiction that was at odds with his faith.
Apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
And so the true motivations may never be known or relevant when innocent lives are lost. But does this raise questions whether the media genuinely cares about covering racial violence? Or
they don't care. They prioritize the stories that fits the narrative, keeps the ad money churning, keeps people divided, pitted, and keeps coming back for more and more and more.
In 2019, Daryl Morey, the former GM of the Houston Rockets, faced backlash from the Chinese government and businesses after expressing support for the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. And the consequences were immediate. This incident resulted in an estimated loss of $400 million for the league.
Yeah, we apologize. We love China. We love playing there.
But at the same time, is there hypocrisy behind the NBA's stance on social issues when considering their previous support of racial violence, police brutality, and LGBTQ+ issues?
Again, black and oh my gosh, this planet's so ghetto. Black people and the gay people get all the hip and holler, all the praise, all the attention, all the promo, everything. And then everything else gets swept underneath the rug. It's no, how do you actually care? You got people dying. You got actually crimes going on in China and you're crickets on it, but you want to speak on Black Lives Matter because black people are under attack when they're actually not. When gay people are under attack, when they're actually not. It's the TQ+ calling for and wanting everything. Woo!
People are so divided. People need to stand up for making real change rather than just, saying things for the sake of saying it.
Because when media has the power to influence your perception, your world becomes binary as either the perpetrator or victim.
Skin's content is so good. I'm so excited for a video that we have coming out. That will be coming out in August. So keep an eye out for that. Go follow him if you do not already. He has tons of great videos. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It was really interesting and cool to see what people had to say. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly. Like, I thought it would be way more dramatic, way more divisive and alarming, but it really wasn't. The people were pretty sane, middle ground, maybe a little bit more left, a little bit more right, but all in all, it was great opinions, great insight, and great talking points. Because at the end of the day, I think we all can agree that the mainstream media does push a certain narrative regarding race, and it's sad to see because they had me like that. When I think about, you know, 2016, 15, 17 Amir, he was very depressed. He was a lot of anxiety and rage because of how he felt about Black Lives Matter and being black in America. Because of the mainstream media news, I really hated my skin color. I really hated being black in America because I thought that I was in harm's way. I thought that I was going to be killed by the cops. I had so much anxiety, so much fear, and for no reason. It took Candace Owens yelling at me on a YouTube video for me to fact check everything that the media was telling me. Do I agree with everything that woman says? No. But one thing that she did say that was correct is that, you know, there's more people being struck by lightning than shot and killed by the cops as a black unarmed man. And damn it, I thought it was in the thousands. I thought thousands of young black men were being shot and killed by the cops, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So, damn, I do, it's frustrating seeing how much the media plays up this race war. When Jussie Smollett happened and everyone jumped on him, I forgot his name, but the Nick Sandman kid with the MACA hat.
CNN has settled a $250 million defamation suit Sandman filed. It's over a confrontation with the Native American man that made the teenager look like the aggressor.
Like, everyone wants to jump on race, white people this, black people this, when in reality, 9 times out of 10, the shit ain't not what it was made to be. So it's gonna take us, all my other creator friends on YouTube, independent journalists, and you all doing the due diligence to listen to alternative viewpoints and different perspectives to really get a wholesome and grounded view on what's happening in our world. So just major props to you for doing that. Thank you for being here. We're on a road to 100K subscribers, which is just insane. If you want to join me in my private Discord where we're all hanging out, live streams, gaming, answering Q&As, you get free shipping, all the merchandise, head over to amirodom.com and you can become a member there. As always, I hope that you're trying your best to really become the best version of yourself, and you understand that no one's going to change your life but you, to do what you need to do in order to put your best self forward. Much love, and as always, I will catch you in the next video. Deuces.